promote or demote column headers. So, when we create a new query using unstructured data sources such as text files, sometimes the column headers are also recognized as a data row. So, here in the example I am showing here, you can see that the first row, that is first name, last name, and fee. So, these are the column headers, but they are recognized as data row. So, we can promote this row as a header by selecting the option use first row as headers. So we can promote the first row of this table into the column headers by using this function. So let me click on that. So here you can see it clearly that the first row has promoted to the column header, first name, last name, and fee. And in the applied steps, you can clearly see that promoted headers step and also changed the type. When we get back to the previous step, here you can see that this column 3 is recognized as text 1 ABC. So when we promoted that headers, it changed the type automatically to the numeric, right? So this is the promote headers. So use first row as headers. Suppose we have done this second time. Let me click on use first rows as header. So here, actually this is the data, right? But it is promoted to the header. So we can promote that header to the data row by again clicking on this drop down menu and selecting use headers as first rows. So in some cases, we might get the data without the column headers. So Power Query may recognize that data as column header, first row as. So we can demote the header as first row by clicking on this option. So use headers as first rows. When I clicked on that, the header is promoted to the first row, that is demoted to the first row, and we can rename the column by double clicking on the column and giving our column name. This is the first way. And the second way is just right click on the column name and go to rename option. So this is the second way how we can change the column name. And coming to the third one, so you can go to transform tab and click on rename. So this is the third way that you can change the column name. So here in the left side you are having an icon called ABC, right? This is the data type of the column. So when we click on that, we are having an multiple options to select the data type. So first name is the column of text. So it automatically detects and places it as a text. You can see it here. Text. Okay. And coming to the fee, Power Query detected the fee as whole number. But actually it is the currency type, right? In Power Query, currency type is recognized as fixed decimal number. So when we click on that, see, it recognized it with comma and some decimal point separator, right? So in this manner, you can change the data type. So there are also different ways to change the data types, like here. When I right click on the column name and clicked on the change type, this is the another way to change the data type. And also here we have an option C, data type. So when I click on that drop down menu, I can choose the data type I want. So these are the ways to change the data type according to your column values. Reducing rows in Power BI can improve data model performance and also reduce the memory usage and speed up the calculations. In Power Query, we are having two options to reduce the rows. Either remove the unnecessary rows or keep the necessary ones. So let us open a Excel workbook and learn each one. So Excel workbook. So whenever we load the data, we must follow few steps. So first one is we must have to rename our query. So here I am renaming the query name. So once we rename, we have to check whether the column headers are correct or not. So here we can see that in the applied steps, Power Query has automatically detected and promoted the headers, right? But we can clearly see that the column headers are not the correct ones. In the data row number 2, we are having the column headers. So whatever the Power Query has automatically detected, we do not want that. So I am deleting those steps. Now we can see that the data we have loaded contains some discrepancies and we have to remove those. So we can clearly see that the first two rows which are of no use. So we can remove that by clicking on remove rows drop down and click on remove top rows. So here it displays you a dialog box where we have to enter how many rows we have to remove. So I have clicked on 2 and selected OK. Then you can see that the first two blank rows have removed, and here in the applied steps you can see that each and every transformations that you are applying will be recorded. So the next one is, we already know that when we are having the headers in the data rows, we can promote them by clicking on use first row as headers, right? We have promoted the column headers also. But here we can see more null values, right? Which are all blank values. So I can remove these blank values by clicking on remove rows and remove blank rows. So all the columns which are having null values are removed, right? And when I scroll down, I can see that the last row containing unnecessary data. I do not want that. That is page 1 of 1. So I can remove it just by clicking on remove rows drop down and remove bottom rows. And I am choosing the last row. So I want to remove one row, selecting the one and clicking on OK. Let me check with the data. Yes, it got removed. So now everything is okay. So whenever we have renamed the query and promoted the column headers, the next step we have to is data types, whether the data types are correctly detected. You can see that name is of type text, which is okay, and coming to the employee id, it is a mixed one, so we have to change it to the whole number. So when I have changed that to whole number, I can see a red line here, so which indicates there are errors in our column when we have detected the data type. Okay, so let us see what is the error. Here I can see that when I click on that, so we could not convert to the number. That means there is an unknown value k which cannot be converted to the number. So I do not want that row. So which is the error one? So let me delete this step, and here I can see that there is an error. So clicking on the employee id and removing the error ones. So remove errors. You can see that there are no red lines here. So everything is good, 100% valid, right? So now let me sort the employee ID in ascending order. So here in the home tab, we are having an option to sort the column. So sort ascending. It got sorted. Now in employee IDs, I want only the employees with even IDs. I can do that by clicking on remove rows and remove alternate rows. So I want even numbers, right? So first row to remove is 1, number of rows to remove 1, and number of rows to keep 1. So starting from the first row, remove one row and keep one row so that I can get the even numbers, right? I'm clicking on OK, and here you can see the employee IDs with even numbers. But now I want the employee IDs with odd numbers. So now I can go to this applied step and click on gear icon. So here I am having an option to change the step. So let me choose the first row to remove as 2, and number of rows to remove and number of rows to keep is same, that is 1. Now let us see. See here, we can see all the employee IDs with odd numbers. We can also change it to whatever we want. Like keep number of rows to remove is 2 and number of rows to keep is also 2. Now let us click on OK. You can understand that starting from 2, remove 2 rows and keep 2 rows. That is 2 and 3 will be removed, 4 and 5 will be kept. Again 6 and 7 will be removed. So let us check that. Okay. Yes, 2 3 removed, 4 5 is there, 6 7 removed. So this is the transformation, that is remove alternate rows. So now let us discuss about remove duplicates. So clearly observe that row number 2 and row number 5 having the same first name, right? So whenever we are dealing with duplicates, make sure that you have selected the column that are having unique values. So if I select first name and selected to remove duplicates, then one of my necessary data has lost, right? So please do not do that mistake. So I am removing this step and I am selecting email column, which is unique for each and every student. So selecting email column and clicking on remove duplicates. See, there is no change. So whenever we deal with duplicates, we must select the column that is unique and remove the duplicates, right? So it is the same with the keep rows, but except that keep rows will keep all the necessary rows by performing all the options. Okay, so in today's video we have covered reducing the rows. So let us cover some more transformations in our upcoming videos. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.